talking about stuff, especially some deep stuff, is something that's difficult to do, and I think up and like clearing the taboo a bit of
Yeah, and especially about difficult topics like addiction, I think.
yeah.
These are not easy topics to talk about. This one is a bit more fun, I think, and also more in things I want to talk about. Like
Okay.
addiction is also a very good one, but I think like innovation and technology is more what I live for in these kind of days. You know, like what kind of thing is the next thing is gonna happen? Like nobody knew about ChatGPT, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden it was there, and everybody was using it.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh shit, where did it come from? Where did it go? What is gonna happen?
No, exactly. But the thing is also like I for a long time was very driven by technology and by innovation and by let's look at the new cool stuff we're doing and I know that it's improving stuff, but on the other hand, sometimes it seems like something to do because like this might sound suddenly pretty deep or
No,
pretty,
no,
but it's like
there's no skill
because
fee.
we have no other purpose than just progressing. Like we're just like,
But
oh,
that's
what
yeah,
to do? Just progress.
that's the main purpose. Why? What's evolution?
Yeah, but I know that progression is like the way to go, but sometimes I feel like we're not standing still. Like you could live your entire life working for some progression, and especially in like this big society that we live in, you play like this tiny minuscule parts of a bigger progression, and then like you get old, you die, and then you're like, oh, so now I helped society go forward, but like what was my life? Just striving for some technology or some innovation that like why even?
But
Like sometimes I feel like we're just inventing stuff to keep ourselves busy, you know?
that's very true, and I think that's one of the big reasons why humans are dominating the world. Like we are inherently trying to better ourselves and get more out of it, and
Yeah.
be as a community better off on the next generation. But at the end of of your year, like what does the individual get? It's a very good observation. Like that's why I think it's also more important to highlight like different projects that you have. You have like your main job and you're
Yeah.
working 9 to 5, but what do you do outside of it? What do you
Yeah.
strive for? What do you are trying to accomplish? I think like this is a very good setting to talk about this thing.
No, no.
Maybe we're getting a bit off track in the start, so
Yeah, sure.
but
Sure, yeah.
it's definitely something I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll do a quick introduction first. So Doedzie, all jokes aside, is actually an AI engineer.
Well, AI engineer, yeah, okay. You call it that, but I'm
Oh,
more of a
it's right.
software developer. I use AI, but I don't like
You incorporate the AI that your firm builds, or is it not an AI that they build?
we build some simple AIs, like some models. We train some simple models, but for a lot of use cases, we just as everyone, we use existing models because they're just
Yeah,
so
they're
good.
just better.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. But that's also like integration of the AIs, maybe is a better word.
Yeah, and like learning about sorry, I'm hijacking your introduction
No,
and
no.
learning to work with AI because I think especially as a developer, because my main like day-to-day thing is I'm a software developer. Like if you're not learning to work with AI now, you're like you will fall
Yeah,
behind. You'll miss the boat
that's what I'd say
for sure.
to my boss too. Like he sees it too, but like people are investing not enough in AI to
Yeah.
actually improve their businesses, because
100%.
at this moment we are really at the frontiers of where AI is going. Like
Yeah.
finally we can see real applications
Yeah.
for the AI, except for beating the chess champion or whatever.
Exactly.
That's
Well,
like very impressive. It's like, what does it fix for me in my daily life? You know?
yeah, I know, but like with every invention, the first parts are like they seem useless, but it's just an achievement for some specific like behind the scenes stuff, like um, increasing complexity for example chess. That's like something that to learn from AI. It's not like the purpose was to be chess. The purpose was to like improve AI, and one of the things was chess or what was it, StarCraft or whatever. Um, but yeah, no, I know, but still in AI, I find that we've never progressed more. Technology has never progressed more than AI because what was it? 1 year and a half? No, 2 years ago, I think I finished my thesis, which was to build an AI. And back then, AIs were like, "Oh, look at this cool new stuff and pretty gimmicky." Okay, I wasn't like cutting edge
Uh,
technology and stuff, but it was like, okay, that's cool. Now it can do some stuff that we can't. And then suddenly, like 2 years time, it's like, oh, let's dominate the world now.
And
so
I
as you
think
say, we're, oh, sorry.
no.
As you say, we're at the frontier of something that's gonna go like super quickly, more quickly or faster than we've ever seen before.
Yeah,
I think.
I think that's true for all technologies, but especially for AI because it can kind of improve itself and build upon itself.
Yeah.
And that's a bit the scary part, but we'll get there later.
Yeah. And that's no, that's one of the projects we're working on now is.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. We actually did not get through the introduction. We kind of zoomed away from it instantly.
Exactly.
So let's maybe go back to what you're actually doing. So you work at Rollo. It's a data-driven expert in AI and software. I saw in this last 10 seconds I did research.
Exactly.
So what do you actually do? Because it's linked actually to this kind of thing, right? It's
not
a practical example of where it might go in the schools.
Well, it would be, but right now we see like the AIs we use is purely functional, not ethical. Like maybe it does this wrong, that wrong.
But maybe you can picture a broader picture.
Yeah. So our customers are people or like I say it like businesses that have big data which they don't do anything or don't do enough with. And so we have like
hospitals or schools or
you would be amazed at how few companies actually do the things they can do, like see the insights they have.
I see it. I know it for sure in the process industry where I work.
Yeah, like we have like bakeries.
There is zero AI use there.
Yeah, I know exactly. And so we have like these three things. So the first thing is we need to like make this data available. So most often they don't even have a good content management system or like sort of a website for internal people to like where are our stocks going, what was the price for this, how many did we sold for that, I don't know what. And so we offer that as a service. So we have built a system like that.
You maintain a website and stuff, you mean?
Yeah, well, we don't maintain it. We build
because we say as a service.
But we offer it as a service because it communicates with like the scores process that we built, where all the data comes through, like every order, everything. We know everything that's going on.
So you have the database, it gets processed by your AI, and then it feeds into a website that portrays the results.
Well, not really like that. So for now, it's like the first step isn't with AI. It's just building a system that allows people to do anything they want to, and at the same time, we have a system where we can monitor anything. We can see how many orders there are. We don't have to like scan some guy's paper that noted down, oh yeah, 25 pieces of this to this customer. Like we have this centralized. So that's the first thing. That's digitalization. And the second thing is automation, and that's also not with AI, or like sometimes it is, but that's also more like, okay, how can we make your company more efficient and do stuff automatically so that we don't have to
That's a bit what I do.
So don't have to put any more time into the stuff you do every day. There shouldn't be a guy mailing a thing every day, right? And then the third thing, and that's where it gets interesting, but that's only after we've achieved 1 and 2. The third thing is allowing like using AI on this big model, different AI. It's some AI for analyzing your output, some AI for analyzing your stock usage, whatever. And that's called insights. And then AI will help us get insights about how we can how you can be more efficient. It's like everything is at a
kind of fills the gaps where it thinks it lacks efficiency.
Exactly. There are things like, oh, wait. Like,
this can be on different domains, like information streams, working procedures, interactions with people.
Exactly. But
finding new customers.
It starts from very simple things like, hey, man, like every Monday you order way too much of this stuff that you don't need. Like, but that's something a human can do. But then there's way more complicated stuff like a relationship, like, oh, but if that's part of your company that's located there is affected by this and that and this and way too many factors that nobody will ever think about. Yeah. That's how we will then optimize. And then so that's the three things. That's the main function of our business. But then we also use AI for like small stuff like, oh, here is a you have some pictures, and there's someone's full-time job to just write down what's on the picture, like number plates and stuff. Like, okay, we'll just make a image recognition AI.
It's training, or what is it doing then?
Yeah, well,
Pictures.
no, it's just processing. It's just getting information out of this picture. Sometimes we train our own models with the pictures we have. Sometimes we take already trained models and we use them. But yeah, so we're currently like this like 1 year maybe, like maybe a bit longer. So we're very young.
Yeah.
And
Company.
very young company. So we're still building the core. So we're still building the thing that like manages all the information. So there's constantly new features being added.
So you're still in the first stage then, or what?
But like depending on the customer. So some customers want very complex stuff with like, oh, we want to send automatic invoices and it should be like this and that, and which automatically sent to the bookhouders and blah, blah, blah. So we're adding to the core. So the core exists and it's operational. And with some companies we're already in different stages where we do some analysis and use some AI.
Yeah.
But in a lot of other companies, we're still building this core. And so, but once this core is ready, it's a plug and play core. So then another company comes and says like, oh, I need facturation, I need a planner agenda, I need a stock management system, I need a mailing system. We just do tick, 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 tick. We release it, the customer is happy, we get all the information, and then the customer receives from us like, oh, no,
that's interesting. You are maintaining this framework for their data and stuff.
Exactly, because a lot of times they do it
that's
with like
a good business model, because they always have to get through you then to get their data. It's kind of weird, no?
Well,
to be honest,
the server is accessible by them, right? But it's a service.
You provide the platform for the data to be readable, or how you would say, like, comprehensible,
just manageable. Like they manage the data. Like it's not that we're like, oh, we're stealing your data.
No,
they pay us to do it. The companies want us to get some insight.
You structure it, but you can only release a structured data if people come to you. If they want to get the structured data from the database, they have to do it themselves, right?
But like we built the database, we built the thing, we built the website. You
make the servers and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, we don't like mechanically build a server, right? We just
no. That's what I think. Like there is data available for they can surpass you, or they can like.
But
then they have to analyze it themselves, and that would take your work doing again. And now you're placing yourself in between the company, you, and then the new company that wants to achieve something for the old.
Sometimes it's just the company doing something for themselves, right? It's just like, oh.
Yeah, that's initially, but I was now thinking about the interesting thing about the business model is that you are always in between the comprehension of their data. Another company cannot comprehend the big data sets without you guys in between.
Maybe I said it wrong. The core that we manage, it's not from all the companies going to one core.
No,
it's one core per company. So like it's just as if they would go to like this. I don't know what's the website's host called, like build your own website, stuff like that, right? They also manage the data. It's a service that they subscribe to, and then they can do anything.
It's interesting because it's a reoccurring service. You can always.
So we don't deliver.
They have to keep you as a link, because otherwise their data would be useless again.
Yeah. Otherwise the server would just stop.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a good model.
But like any website hosting thing works.
Yeah, it's similar, but this is like on large data sets. It makes very intensive if anybody else wants to surpass you.
Yeah, but like there is no like, we're not trying to be in between some process. It's like they're not surpassing us, they're just using us. You know, we're providing.
But I'm seeing it now because I'm in a similar world as a consultancy. Like you place yourself in between what the company has and what the company needs, you know? And you place yourself in between to make the data more approachable, more understandable.
Like, we built the data and everything. So,
well, the data is there, right? It's in the service.
No, like for now, like some people just have the data is just like a big ass like form with just papers. like we just say like, oh, do you want to optimize? Do you want to digitalize? Yeah, then we'll build everything, and everyone that wants to communicate and then use it, we can allow them. But it's not
Yeah,
that we're
maybe
going through
we're straying a bit
Yeah.
too much from the topic.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I was just interested in that because it's a good business model, I think. Use it like this.
Yeah, I think.
I'm not
as a
saying you're the bad
product-
guy. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying it's a good business model.
Yeah, like we do
Um,
too. And
But
I
maybe
think
you can
I
explain
believe-
more about the grading thing you were
Yeah,
talking
so-
about the other day.
So one of our customers is a application called FeedForm, and so that's a way of for teachers to manage their students' evaluations and just like school management system. So you have like these grades, it has these students and these students. Like each test you have, like we don't generate anything. The teacher just says like, okay, this test is there, and you have some European guidelines you have to achieve for each test. I don't know if it's Belgian or European, but it's called a learning goal. So they say like, oh, we have this test that applies to this learning goal. So then Europe or Belgium is happy, and then they manage their grades, and so they can say like, oh, this student has. They can mark the student's points, and then so that's built.
So
So
kind
it's not
of
for the
makes
students.
a report or something.
Yeah, so but it makes reports, it made like big insights, it made graphs for each student, like, oh, this student, you're scoring a bit worse in I don't know, in maths,
Algebra,
but a bit better than this, or you're on a positive curve because the teacher say like it's pretty like repetitive stuff if you have to type it for each student. Like, oh yeah, first you have to look at, okay, what was your grade last year? What's your grade now? Okay, is it better than not? Okay, oh, you're progressing, but you're still not there. Like this. So that's of course a good way to use AI, and so that's where one of
And
the
does
things.
it give feedback also, like how it could improve, for example, algebra if it's getting harder or something?
So the goal of that project in the long run, so that's the insight, the third thing we're now starting, is the generating insight. For example, one of the goals is that they're, how do you say, it's like sometimes if you fail a course, then during the spring break, you have to work on that course, the vakantietag,
Yeah.
it's called. And so, but normally it's like,
Summer
oh,
school, huh?
yeah, like, oh, you failed French, here's like this big course, like, do everything French again, like, and you have to do everything in your course.
Do everything French.
Yeah, no, but I mean, or
Understand,
maths, like, do
understand.
everything, but maybe you just failed integrals, or maybe you just failed passé composé or something. So,
Ugh,
yeah, so we would, like, in
bad
the-
memories.
one of the-
Passé composé.
exactly, like, I've banned this from my memory. But we would generate stuff that would then be, like, the goal is to generate one of these spring break assignments to be more personal, to be like, oh, you failed integrals, so now you're going to work on integrals and not on, like, I don't know, additives or something.
Yeah. On the whole algebra book, for example.
And then, well, that will, like, that's the first thing, and then afterwards,
So
be like,
do teachers have to input their tests or something, or how does it work?
Yeah, so
They
this
just give the grades, but for example, if it's an open question, it should know what kind of answer the student gave, or how is it going to be?
so the teachers first make the tests, and per question, they don't say what the question was. They can say, but it doesn't have to. Just relates to one of the learning goals. So like, oh, this question relates about a student learns to work with integrals and has a good understanding of it. A student learns to apply passé composé in a good sentence or something. And these are learning goals set up by, I think, Belgium or
Yeah,
Europe, I don't know.
okay. Yeah.
And so they give out then, and then you have to
checking.
mark it, and then you see what learning goals you failed and what you. So, and then well, the possibilities of like improving on that are.
But for more like detailed feedback, it would be necessary that the AI also understand the question and the context and the answer is given there, right? Or
No, because if you fail the question, it knows from your learning goals, oh, you failed integrals, and which also makes it scalable because not all schools have the same questions, but all schools do have the same learning goals. Oh, you failed a learning goal about learning to apply integrals.
Yeah,
on
but for maths is maybe easier. But for example, history or something like, can it understand the context of what the student comprehends and where it lacks comprehension? For example, you say if it fails integrals, it doesn't have to learn the whole mathematics again. It just has to learn integrals.
Yeah.
Does this also apply for like more contextual kind of answers? Like, oh, he understand that the Civil War was then, but he didn't get the link with the Allies coming from there or something? Or
Yeah, like,
how do I see that?
Like for now, it's not that like because
the end goal,
like otherwise your summer break thing would just be like, where did the Allies come from? Like it shouldn't be too specific. But still, you have these learning goals, but you can also set up your own learning goals, which then you could pass, like, say, like, oh, you failed, like, for example, history, maybe there's not something in the curriculum that says exactly what you want, what you have to learn. Maybe it's the Civil War, maybe it's some other war or whatever. Then you can divide, like, pass your own learning goals, and then the AI knows, okay, it failed this learning goal, and purely on that learning goal, it will generate new things. So it won't generate the response of your question.